year, new you. New year, same you. It's that time of year where we see lots and lots about how we want to make 2026 the best year ever. And most of us have a little bit of trepidation because in 2019, how many of us thought that 2020 was going to be the best year or the best decade ever? I always have that in my brain. However, we can have so much information and this pressure that this mythical day of the 1st of January is going to change everything. Now, normally at this time of year, I'm somewhere sunny. This year I'm not, but normally I am. And so I never actually start anything until I'm back at work and my kids are back at school. Because for me, starting a New Year's resolution on the 1st of January when you're on the beach somewhere just does not feel like a good idea. That's going to really build into this date specific thing. I don't know what it is about the human brain, but we're always like, we're going to start on this date. I'm going to start on the 1st of January. And if I don't start then, I'm not going to do it. Or I'm going to start on Monday. But often we get into this real all or nothing thinking, which is one of Beck's cognitive distortions, where we are very kind of cruel to ourselves even that we have to start on this date. And if we don't, then we might as well not do it. And what happens then is we can set ourselves these massive goals. You know, I've got a classic. I'm going to run every day. I probably run like once or twice a week. Yeah. And that's been relatively consistent over the last 20, 25 years. Okay. Sometimes I might have run, twice a month. Sometimes I might have only run once a month, but I've always had some kind of rhythm. Come January the 1st, I used to say to myself, I'm going to run every day. I live in the Northern Hemisphere in London. I have lived there for nearly 25 years. I tell you what, in January in London, when you're working, you have a little window of time you can run. It isn't the best time to be out there. It's muddy, it's wet, it's cold. Why would you do that to yourself? It really made me think, and there'd always be this date, the 14th of January, I think is the date that we stopped doing our New Year's resolutions. And then you're like, oh, well, I'll just not do anything. Maybe I'll stop doing any exercise. Maybe I'll start drinking alcohol. Maybe I'll stop eating vegan food. Because we're all or nothing, we just completely give up. Instead of thinking about all of these things that you're going to do that are going to be a massive leap from where you are, I encourage you to look at what you're already doing that helps you to be happier, to be fitter, and to be more successful. So maybe already you're walking 5,000 steps a day. Maybe already you are sleeping 8 hours a day. Maybe already you are seeing your friends a couple of times a week. Maybe already. So think about what you already do. How is that serving you? And then think about what could be an extra commitment that is going to be achievable, that you're going to find easy. So maybe I'm going to increase my walking to 6,000 steps a day. And I'm going to be consistent on that. Or maybe I only see my friends once a month, so I'm going to make sure that every other month I see them at least twice. Or maybe I really want to save some money and I have 2 coffees a day. I'm just going to have 1. Make some really small changes. Changes that you can embed, changes that can become habitual, changes that will make a big difference with that compound effect. So rather than going too big, I'm saying to you, look at those micro things that you can do. Look at things that are going to be really simple for you to achieve, and also start to think about what will happen if I don't do this. How will I get back onto that track if I have a bad week, if I'm ill, if work becomes really busy? And how will I be compassionate with myself? Because actually, we can all run every day for 7 days, but actually, can we all run twice a week for the year? What's going to make the biggest difference? Even once a week for the year. Can we all only have 1 coffee for the year rather than just have a month with no coffee? These small incremental changes make the biggest difference. Make it bite-sized, because then you can build. So my invitation to you is to think about what are those small micro habits I can start to build on what I already do. How am I going to celebrate? Because when we build habits, there are a couple of things actually we need to think about. Celebration And that celebration doesn't mean that we need to have a party, but something that is going to mark us doing it. So a way of feeling good. My favorite experiment. Some German psychologists looked at how do we get people to stay on track with exercise. And what they did is they gave one group chocolate after exercising. That group's brains associated exercise with pleasure from the chocolate, and that over time, because they got the endorphins from exercise as well, they took the chocolate away, but they built that neural pathway, they built that habit, and they continued to exercise. So actually, how do we segment and how do we match an activity with some kind of reward? You know, it might be, it doesn't need to be chocolate. It could be, after I've done this, okay, this is a classic Ruth one. After I've done like a big piece of work, I can lie in bed scrolling on either animal videos, love them, Leeds University studies, so it's good for our brain as well, lowers level of cortisol, or funny footballing moments. Those are my two that I love to go on. You know, that's my reward. Or maybe my reward is just chatting with my husband. Something that I really like doing that I would do after something else, so my brain is associating them. And the other thing, to make something routine and habitual, is think about the cue or the prompt. So I will do this after. So that's why some people like to do things at the same time every day, but it could just be after something else. After I've dropped the kids off at school, I go for a walk. Really easy. It doesn't always have to be that. Like I've got another one, like when I feel like my brain is at capacity, that's when I do my exercise. You're really thinking about how can I remind myself? How can I reward myself? So that cue and that reward are really important. Instead of thinking that you've got to change everything, look at what's already working. Think about those incremental gains that will help you to become the person that you want to become and achieve what you want to achieve. Start small, think about the cue or reminder, and celebrate. And that's going to lead to a much more successful 2026 than that all or nothing thinking, which will probably lead you to burn out by the 14th of January, eating all the chocolate, watching all the Netflix, drinking all the wine. Don't want to go there.